Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. This one is extremely low effort because this texturing did not turn out how I wanted it to. So basically, I made possibly the worst UV maps in history. These are UV maps that will just make just about anybody just go, why? Why did you do this? I am awful at UV maps, but I think more so it's just an awful model that I've made, like the topology and where everything is placed. So I, in the end, I considered that I'm just gonna have it be super far in the back of the main animation that just about nobody will be able to see if it's actually there or not, and it's fully textured. So that's where we're at now. You will see many of the errors that the UV map had for the main texture itself when I actually get to the main model, because wow, it is awful. And I just kind of like gave up halfway through because I just got angry with myself. I got angry with the time I spent modeling it. I got angry with all the planning I did for the model itself. But it's just one house, and there's going to be multiple. But I wanted to get this out anyways, so that I could show you guys what like a failure looks like, I suppose, because there are a lot of them. A lot of stuff gets scrapped already because I just get unhappy with stuff. So I think this is a pretty good time to show what exactly failure looks like, because this is a failure. Although I might be able to use the model in the main animation still, which is what I'm planning to do. Because it may be garbage, but it's my garbage. And that means I'm going to keep using it. I'm just going to put it in the corner where it belongs. For the next video I'm planning to make a test animation with Brawl fighting some models. I got a model that I grabbed off of a website. I think it's Sketchfab. I'm going to have to double check that. But it's kind of like just like a default soldier model, and I will be sure to link the website and the page in the video description whenever I do make it. But it's just going to be a quick animation with Brawl probably punching a couple of them, getting some combat in the way. So that way I can get some practice in, and of course I can maybe show you guys what animations will look like for me so far, because of course I have not animated, so the animation is probably going to look really weird, because my experience with Blender is mostly to modeling. That has been what most of my experience is, because I want to do everything in Blender. I want to model, I want to texture, I want to animate. And of course, modeling is hard. Mainly because I go through shifts and phases and motivation, and also because I am still in school. And I am, of course, planning to open up a Patreon soon so that people may be able to support the channel. And it will be able to support me going through with animations fully, because this is my hobby and it's what I want to do. I want to show everyone that I can make some amazing models and amazing animations that will bring entertainment and joy to anybody that watches it. So, into the future, I'm going to be making a Brawl test animation. And then I will probably be starting the series of modeling a dragon for my brother's game. Now, the dragon itself, I think I've mentioned it before, is Apocalypse. And he is going to be a very special dragon. I have a reference image that my brother is drawing right now. And it already looks amazing. 2D art is something that I can't do, but I can do 3D art. So yeah, it's basically not even it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, it's not. Please don't hurt me. But so right now I'm just doing what I usually do: scratches, bump maps, solid color frames. Right now I'm just working on the beams, and of course the all the problems of the UV map. don't show up until I start work on the main body of the house itself, and it will be awful. You will see all the problems that arise where textures don't texture. The paint kind of skids into all over the place, and some parts of the UV map just don't want to cooperate at all. And so, UV maps are really important. And for those who don't know what UV maps are, basically textures are a 2D picture, and UV maps are the coordinates of the 3D object placed onto a 2D plane. So it's kind of like if you were to take apart a cardboard box and splay it out onto the floor, that's basically what a UV map is. Basically, it gets put back together as a 3D object with all the textures that you painted onto it as. I think that's a decent explanation. I'm not sure. It sounds correct. Well, at least in my head. So I'm just adding some scratches to the beams, which are arguably the best part of this house. And for the windows and door, again, I'm just gonna probably put like a black void behind them. Might as well. If they're gonna be all the way in the back, I might as well do that. And there will be a second house animation in the future. Oh, sorry, not animation. A second house modeling in the future. I have to make a lot of houses. I have to make some destroyed houses for the main brawl animation and some other things. So, hopefully, when I go back and recreate the houses, I can make them a little bit better. Maybe I can look up a couple YouTube tutorials on how to do it properly. Because, wow, this did not work at all. I think I'm gonna not use booleans next time and try to actually maybe buckle down and do everything myself properly this time. And use the knife tool. Yay, the knife tool. I love the knife tool. For anybody learning Blender, please learn the knife tool. Do not do what I do. Alright, we're gonna go with a kind of like beige texture, which in my brain was like, oh, I'm gonna have it be concrete. Then of course, this is where it all falls apart. I'm gonna create the image texture, I'm gonna make the mask, and this is where I freak out. So the steps, I was gonna have them be, of course, like stone. So I go like really gray, and I start texturing, and then yep, you can already see it just not even work there. I try to draw the front part of it, and you can see the little line, and it just doesn't work. I can't even do the sides really. And there I'd freak out because at this point I'm already angry. You know, I spent some time on this model, and you know I made it. This like it's my creation, and it always sucks seeing something just not turn out the way you want it to. But I follow through with it, trying to go ahead. And this part isn't right here isn't such a UV map problem. It's just a problem with Blender texture painting. Just make sure you get your edges right. You could see it just not even working there, which I at this point trying to contain my rage. But then it works right there, and I'm like, what? And just none of it wants to work the way I want it to. So we just keep going and we just keep going. I try to model the inside. At this point, my brain is still trying to recover this fully, trying to do a full texturing so it can be a main set piece in the video. But I think halfway through, I just decided, well, it's going to be a background set piece because none of this wants to work. For just as a tip, make some UV maps, please. I haven't made UV maps on the channel yet, but I think I'm gonna do that. I could show you guys just how awful some of these things can be. So I think my brain was like, I'm gonna have some wood accents be like surrounding the house as I go along. Of course, none of that works, and you can see more problems. I want you to imagine me just like gritting my teeth and gripping my table hard because like why? Why doesn't it want to work? In hindsight, I probably could have gone back and made a better UV map, but I had already spent a couple hours on it in total. And by that I mean like 6 hours because none of it wanted to work properly. And I just didn't want to do it. And you could see me just frozen in the blender space right now. I think I think if I remember correctly, I was like pacing around my room with a Pepsi Zero in hand with just sadness on my face. So that's basically what I'm doing right now. And I'll come back, just lock in, whatever. Just stop complaining, and I get back to it, trying to make it as pretty as I can. And it's also why I mainly just worked on the front of the house in the end because I was like, oh, just gonna do the thing what I did with for the box. Ignore the back and the sides. Have it only be faced towards the front because this is animation, and I can only show what I want people to see. And that's the golden rule for filmmaking. If the camera's not looking at it, why does it have to be there? And that goes for video games as well. Why would you hand model and texture a beautiful distant cityscape when you can just use a 2D photo? That saves on a lot of resources and stuff. Although it's kind of goofy in VR games, I've noticed. Like I think one of the funniest things I've seen with like VR games is Half-Life Alyx. That watching that was one of my favorite experiences. Honestly, VR games are pretty fun. I just can't afford it though, so I just watched it on YouTube. And have you ever gone on just a tangent about something completely unrelated about the task at hand? Anyways, I tried doing the balcony there. Again, the little strip of white that just doesn't want to get textured. None of it wants to get textured. And at this point, I have full sent it into just, oh well, we're doing what I want or what I don't want. And then I think I just use solid textures for the chimney roof and the little support beams or the support structures I have on the front of the house there. You could see me trying to like write the gray. And if you've noticed that I don't have the pencil strength option turned on, then you are far faster than I did because I'm like, why does it look like that? And you could see the jagged lines that the bad UV map creates here as well. UV maps are just as important as the model themselves. If the model doesn't have a good UV map, then the model's going to look like trash. I should notice the pencil strength or the pressure sensitivity strength for it turned on recently. Somewhat soon. Past me is very slow. But like I guess right now the little gray marks kind of like make it look like a tiny face, which I found a little bit funny from a certain angle. And right here, you're gonna witness more UV map shenanigans because, as you can see there, just doesn't work. Doesn't work. Doesn't want to brush at all. And right there, I notice the strength brush. Finally. So that way I can make some actual scratches that look faint. And I was gonna have it be like a more brickish concrete texture, But again, I just decided that I'm just going to have it really far in the back at this point, and might as well. Overall, I wanted you guys to see a failure, what happens when things don't go correctly, because it is a very hard process. Well, at least for me right now, because I'm new. I say that I'm I am inexperienced. Overall, this is going to be kind of the final look somehow because I just decided, well, might as well to go with it. And that's about it. Thank you all for watching me fail at texturing, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks.